We're going to dive into our segment This Week in Freight, powered by DAT. And again, if you guys want any of your lanes analyzed on this show, I need you to email my team, podcast@thefreightcoach.com. All of these lanes are 100% viewer submitted. Again, I just want to help you guys understand what I look for when I'm cold calling shippers, when I'm trying to price freight out over, a 12-month period, especially in times of potential volatility. But, that's what we're here to talk about today. And today's lane that we are going to break down, you guys, is Vineland, New Jersey, Reefer to Tracy, California. And this lane is, it's wild to me because when you move east to west, and this goes back in the day when I was moving food and bev, it's wild the contrast that you can see out there, because if you do the inverse of this, it's like a double the price that you get. I don't know what it is about the east to west lane that is always significantly less than west to east. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But this lane in particular here, there has been like a pretty decent price increase over these last couple of months. Now, when I'm looking at this, if I look at the last year from February through November and even into early December, it was essentially the exact same price, give or take about $200 overall. So the lane performed very stable last year overall. And again, there's a lot of capacity for lanes like this. It's great mileage, 3,000 miles. It's a great, 5-6 day transit, depending on everything you see out there. But I am noticing here that this price increase comes January and February, which are historically the slower months inside of the industry. Volumes are down historically on this, but the rates are rising on this. Now, why is this a point of interest to me? Well, I can go back and see that in January and February, there was some snowstorms up in the Northeast in particular that may have caused this rate to spike and then stabilize at a higher rate. Now, this is also could be in due part to, carriers going out of business and stuff like that. But this is going to be a lane to watch. Okay. And I say that because if we go into the last 7 days, it's still holding firm at that 4,500 mark on DAT. So again, this is one of those lanes that it might not go down, right? Like we'll probably have to check in back in 30 days. But I also look at it is this is a power lane, you guys. And if this lane is holding firm at this, like the snowstorms didn't last all of January and all of February, right? There was a couple of weeks that it caused rates to increase, but it shows that they increased and they stabilized at that increased price. So if I was moving cross-country reefer freight, obviously, you guys, there's 3 different pricing classifications that come into refrigerated freight, in my opinion. You got your frozen stuff, you got your temperature controlled, and then you got your fresh. So you got your -10, your 38 to 42 degrees, and then you got your 55 to 60 degrees. And I know that there's some other stuff that goes in there, but that's just generally, I look at it as like a 3 different classification of pricing when I go in out there. But this lane has seen a price increase, and I wouldn't be surprised if something like this continues to stabilize, and that is the new floor on this lane. I would pay attention to this though, because again, it's at that 60-day mark. I like 90 days. Okay. When I'm looking at lanes over the course of a rate increase or decrease, I like to look at it from a 90-day cycle, because I feel like there's enough freight, there's enough weather events, there's enough things that happen during that time frame to show that, hey, this is the new price on this lane. So if I was going into this one, I wouldn't go in for a price increase probably just yet, depending on what you're quoting on this freight to begin with. But I would pay attention to this one. And if it continues throughout the month of March, I would safely say that this lane has flipped. Capacity and rates clearly capacity is down, rates are up on this one. And that would be one that I would want to pay attention to throughout the entire month of March, because again, my barometer is 90 days and I see a January and a February where the rate has increased and stabilized, and early March here, it's holding firm at that. So if this continues throughout the month of March, moving forward, if you're spot market truck in hand, pricing your customers, I would want to talk to multiple carriers, because one thing that I think people can kind of get caught in is they get one truck that quotes them whatever price below market. They could be sitting for a couple of days. By the time your customer awards you that lane, that truck's already booked and gone, and it wasn't an actual option. And then you're stuck there with a below market rate, and you're potentially losing money on this freight. And again, honor your word, do what you got to do to service the accounts. But if I was new on this lane, I would want to get multiple trucks that I'm talking to here. I would want to get multiple prices, see where everybody's at before I would go out and commit to any pricing on it. And then again, if it's a spot market one, I would want to hold off on getting anything long-term contract until probably the end of March. And if it's stabilized at that for 3 straight months, that 90-day mark, then from there, I would work on locking in a more of a consistent contracted rate. So that lane, you guys, was Vineland, New Jersey to Tracy, California, Reefer. Again, these are all 100% viewers submitted, you guys. So if you want your lane broken down on this show, I need you to email podcast@thefreightcoach.com. Pickup city, delivery city, trailer type. That is all I need. If you want to round up to the nearest big city so you can throw me off your trail, go right ahead and do that, you guys. It doesn't change my opinion, because regionally based pricing is pretty much how I operate and have always operated my book of business. But again, if you want to get in on it, you guys do it 3 days a week. We do drive-in, reefer, and flatbed out there.